It's still a no, Amina Ncube said softly, refusing her best friend's request. But it's not difficult, just attend the party and accept the award on my behalf. I've already told my manager and he said, it's fine if you go instead, Zuri Dlamini urged, trying to convince her. Can't you see it's impossible? How do you expect me, a nobody, to attend an award ceremony and accept an award meant for a famous actress? That's just crazy, Amina replied, pacing around her room. But this is the only solution I can think of. You know how hard it is for me to go out in public. The reporters always turn it into a scandal, which has driven many men away from me. But Kwame is different, and I know he's the one. I can't miss the cruise with him tonight. Zuri said, referring to the third son of a wealthy billionaire she had recently started dating. Are you sure about this Kwame guy? From what I've heard, he's just another spoiled rich kid, Amina remarked. That's not true. Kwame is the bravest and most caring man I've ever met. You said the same thing about the last guy you dated. Wasn't his name Chidi? Amina teased. Chidi is a jerk. I don't even want to hear his name. I bet you'll say the same thing about your brave Kwame soon enough, Amina said with a slight smile. Amina Ncube, watch your words, don't you know that what we say often comes true? Zuri scolded, calling her by her full name. Sorry, but I still believe Kwame isn't right for you. You should go to your awards ceremony tonight and let Kwame enjoy his cruise alone, Amina advised, sitting down in front of her mirror and starting to brush her hair. Then you leave me no choice. I'll have to keep pestering you until you agree, Zuri said, getting up to snatch Amina's brush. Give it back, Zuri, or I swear I'll post that video of you snoring. Amina threatened. You wouldn't dare. You know, I don't make empty threats, Amina replied, making Zuri hand back the brush. It's just for one night. Can't you help your poor friend? Zuri pleaded. You're far from helpless, Amina retorted. Come on, Amina, I'm begging you. We've been best friends since childhood, and besides, you'll have a great time at the ceremony. There's a huge buffet at the after party. Are you trying to bribe me with food because you know I'm a foodie? Amina asked slowly, and Zuri grinned. Fine, I'll go, but not because of the food, just because I know you won't let me live it down if I don't. You're the best. I love you so much, Bunny, Zuri said, sitting on Amina's lap and giving her a kiss on the cheek. Yuck. Do that with Kwame. And get off me, Amina laughed, pushing her away. So what am I supposed to wear to this ceremony? I'll leave that to you since you're a fashion designer. Just make sure it's something red. You always look stunning in that color, Zuri said while texting someone. How many celebrities are going to be there? The usual crowd, some actresses, actors, idols, singers, producers, directors. Oh, and the prince will be there too. The prince. Prince Malik, the only son of the royal family. Don't tell me you haven't heard of him. I've only heard about him, but I don't know much about him. Amina admitted. Same here, I've heard he's a handsome devil. It's a shame I'll miss seeing him, but there's no way I'm cancelling my trip with Kwame, Zuri said, feeling excited. An hour later, Zuri left, and after seeing her off, Amina returned home. Is that chatterbox friend of yours gone? Asked Mama Kofi, Amina's mother, her face set in a frown. Her name is Zuri, Mom, and yes, she's gone, Amina replied, heading to the kitchen. Do you really think that friendship will last? Don't be naive, Amina. She's an actress and you're just a designer working for that worthless boss. Soon enough, Zuri will ditch you once she realizes you're of no use to her, Mama Kofi said bitterly. Do you have to do this, Mom? Do you have to tear others down just because your life didn't go as planned? Amina asked. What did you say? I'm telling you this for your own good. Mama Kofi shouted. For my own good. I know what's best for me, Mom, Amina replied softly. I don't think so. If you did, you would have pursued an acting career and gotten us out of this dump. You would have married that rich suitor and you'd be living a better life. You wouldn't have wasted your time with Sekou, and enough, Mom. Amina Ncube, Amina's younger sister, interrupted. Why do you always take your frustrations out on Amina? Libo demanded, stepping beside her sister. Not everything is about money, she added, turning to Amina. By the way, Abioi came over while you were out. Did something happen to Sekou? Amina asked, worried. He just came to return the books you lent them. Sekou doesn't want them, Libo said. I can't believe it, Amina said, grabbing her car keys and leaving the apartment. Mom, Amina needs love right now. You have to stop blaming her for things that aren't her fault, Libo told their mother. Ungrateful. Both of you are ungrateful, Mama Kofi yelled before retreating to her room. Amina arrived at Sekou's home after a short drive. She knocked on the door instead of using the doorbell, and it was Abioye who answered. Where's your brother? Amina asked, attempting to enter, but Abioye blocked her path. He's resting upstairs, and I think it's best if you leave, Abioye said firmly. Why is Sekou treating me like this? I didn't do anything wrong, Amina said, tears welling up in her eyes. You didn't, but for now he doesn't want to see you. If I let you in, he'll be angry with me. I'm sorry, Abioye said, closing the door in her face. Amina stood at the door for a few moments, then slowly returned to her car. Dressed in a red knee-length gown, one of her own designs, Amina found a spot to park her car. She stepped out, grabbed her bag, and headed toward the hall. Halfway there, she paused to check her reflection. She walked to a nearby car, using its window as a mirror to fix her hair and apply lip gloss. Hope I don't make a fool of myself, Amina said, standing up straight to smooth down her dress. You look great, she reassured herself, giving one last glance before walking away, unaware that a man had lowered his car window to catch a glimpse of her. As Zuri had warned, there were many high-profile figures at the event, making Amina feel out of place. Still, she found the seat reserved for Zuri and sat quietly. She only spoke when spoken to, and ignored those who ignored her, reminding herself she wasn't a celebrity. The only reason she hadn't left yet was because she was waiting for Zuri's award to be presented. Amina picked up her glass of wine and was about to take a sip when she noticed him. Seated at the table ahead, he was watching her. She quickly looked away, putting down her glass. When she dared to take another peek, he was still staring at her. She met his gaze, and suddenly the atmosphere felt a bit warmer. Hello, would you mind taking a picture with me? The man seated next to her asked. I'm not an actress, I'm just here to, it doesn't matter. I just want a picture with a beautiful lady. Will you do me the honor? He insisted. Okay, Amina replied, forcing a smile as the man put his arm around her, making her uncomfortable. Smile for the camera, he said, pressing himself too close to her. If you don't mind, Preston, I'd like you to join me at my table, a voice said behind them. Amina turned in her seat to see the man from earlier still watching her. Really? But that table is for the VVIP, Preston replied. Then you'll have the chance to sit with the VVIP, the man said, clearly intent on sending Preston away, which he succeeded in doing. Amina watched apprehensively as he sat next to her. She reached for her wine glass, but he gently took it from her, handing her a glass of water instead. You've had enough of that. Drink this instead, he said, his gaze meeting hers. Amina quietly studied him, wondering how long he had been watching her. How did he know she'd been drinking only wine? Before she could speak, Zuri's name was announced. Amina quickly went up to the podium to accept the award on her friend's behalf. When she returned, the handsome stranger was still there, watching her every move. Feeling nervous, Amina excused herself to the restroom. Inside, she took her time, wondering who he was and what gave him the right to stare at her as if she belonged to him. She decided to skip the buffet and leave after collecting Zuri's award, but as she exited the bathroom, there he was leaning against the wall, waiting for her. Amina gasped, stepping back and nearly losing her balance. She would have fallen if he hadn't caught her by the waist. Are you okay? He asked, his arms tightening around her. I'm fine. You just startled me, Amina replied, pulling away from his grip. Do you need to use the restroom too? She asked, attempting to make conversation. No, I'm here because I followed you, he said bluntly, making her blink in surprise. I find it strange that you appear everywhere I go. Who exactly are you? Amina asked softly. I'm someone who intends to be a very important part of your life, he replied huskily. And what part of my life are you planning to be in? Every part. I want to be in your life as your lover, your man, and your husband. Do you think a marriage between us could happen soon? Because I'm completely captivated by you, the handsome stranger said, leaving Amina in shock. If that's a joke, it's not funny, she managed to say. Who said I was joking? I mean every word. I want you to be my wife, he said gently. You must be crazy, Amina replied, though his smile only grew wider. You must be crazy, Amina said, only to receive a smile from him. Do I look crazy to you? Prince Malik asked, stepping toward her. Without thinking, Amina turned and ran. Once she reached the crowd, she tried to calm herself, forcing a smile to hide her anxiety. This is supposed to be an award ceremony, not a place where lunatics roam freely, Amina thought as she returned to her seat to gather her things. With everything in hand, she walked out of the hall, only to find him waiting. Running away? Prince Malik asked, flashing that crooked smile of his. Should I call for help? Amina wondered as he approached her. She was about to shout when he grabbed her hand, pulling her into a private room where several familiar faces from the award ceremony were gathered. The after party is happening here, and I want you to dance with me, the handsome, persistent stranger said, leading her to the dance floor before she could protest. I don't know how to dance, Amina confessed. That's fine. Just follow my lead, he said, moving to the rhythm of the music. Knowing it was pointless to argue, Amina decided to leave. But when she tried to move away, he pulled her back into his arms. His grip was firm, almost unbreakable, making it impossible for Amina to escape. I told you to follow my lead, he said softly, leaning closer, the scent of his cologne filling her senses. The music shifted to a slow, romantic tune, perfect for couples. Seizing the moment, Prince Malik pulled her even closer, their bodies almost touching. Slowly he began moving with her to the music, his eyes never leaving hers. Did I scare you with my proposal? Malik asked gently, clearly enjoying the warmth radiating from her. Of course, only a crazy person would talk about marriage on the first day, so you're saying we need more time to get to know each other before getting married? He teased. That's not what I mean. I'm just speaking in general, and I'm not marrying you, Amina said as he twirled her around. With her back pressed to him, he held her close, swaying slowly to the music. Do you want to know what I'm thinking right now? Malik whispered against her ear. How many children we'll have? I think 5 would be just right, he said, causing Amina to gasp in shock. You really are crazy? I know you said that earlier, but you should know I'm crazy for you. From the moment I saw you in this red dress, you've had me captivated. Do you realize how stunning you look? Malik murmured, his breath tickling her ear. This time Amina managed to pull free, and luckily a man approached Malik, diverting his attention. Seizing the opportunity, Amina made her escape. She hurried through the crowd and out of the room, then ran down the hall. She took the stairs 2 at a time, but to her horror, one of her heels slipped off. She turned to retrieve it, only to see Prince Malik exiting the hall, her heel in hand. Leaving the shoe behind like a modern-day Cinderella, Amina continued down the stairs. If Cinderella managed to escape the prince, so can I, she thought. But Amina wasn't as lucky as Cinderella. Just as she reached the landing and aimed for the parking lot, a black Range Rover blocked her path. 2 men in black suits stepped out, standing in her way. Amina turned in desperation, only to see Prince Malik approaching, still holding her heel. Looks like you won't be able to run away from me, he said, crouching down to take her foot. What do you want from me? Why are you doing this? Amina demanded as he stood back up. I thought I made myself clear back there, he replied, reminding her of the outrageous things he had said. I told you I'm not marrying you. Why not? You're not engaged or married, there's no ring to prove otherwise, he said, grabbing her hand. She jerked it away. I have a boyfriend. I have a boyfriend who I love, break up with him. What? You heard me. And whatever you have with him. I won't share my woman. I'm not your woman, you psycho, Amina shouted, causing the 2 men behind her to draw their guns. Malik raised his hand, motioning for them to stand down. Are they going to kill me? Amina asked, terrified at the sight of the weapons. They're just allergic to insults. Their actions speak louder than words, so watch what you say, Malik replied, his tone calm. Who exactly are you? Amina asked, her voice trembling with fear. You'll find out soon. Now come with me, Malik said, reaching for her hand again. I'm not going anywhere with you. I'm leaving, Amina declared, walking off. What am I supposed to do with a stubborn woman like you? Malik muttered to himself. When she continued walking, he quickly ran after her, scooping her up in his arms. What are you doing? Put me down, put me down, put me down. Amina screamed, but he carried her back to the Range Rover and locked her in the passenger seat. Are you driving, Your Highness? One of the guards asked as Malik took the keys from them. I will. Head back to the royal palace. This might take a while, Malik ordered. I'm afraid we can't do that, Your Highness. We're supposed to accompany you wherever you go. Fine, do whatever you want, Malik said, getting into the driver's seat. Let me out of here. Amina yelled, pounding on the door. Put on your seatbelt. If you don't let me out, I'll break this window. Amina threatened. And if you don't stop fighting, I'll kiss you, Malik countered, his tone serious. You wouldn't dare, Amina challenged him, but her words only made him lean in closer, pinning her against the seat. If you're captivated by Amina's thrilling encounter with Prince Malik and want to see what happens next in this intriguing mix of romance, suspense and drama, let us know. Your feedback is important, and we'd love to hear your thoughts.